All right, well, welcome back to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and we are here to check out this 2020 Lexus IS 300 Blackline F Sport rear-wheel drive. So, who do we have to thank for this opportunity? It is none other than Johnson Lexus in Durham, North Carolina. So, if you're interested in buying all the cars on this lot, you may contact Danny because this is an actual Lexus dealership, so you can buy new, pre-owned, whatever you want, and you can even get $200 off if you mention my name. And no, obviously I don't get anything out of it because these reviews must remain objective. And yes, I also do realize I am a little bit late to the party, that most people are actually reviewing the 2021, but I haven't yet got access to that vehicle yet. But whatever, we have access to this one, so we're going to make good use of it. Now, a couple of things to talk about with this car before we get this thing out of the road. So a few things about this spec as a whole. Okay, so this Blackline gets you these nice black vapor wheels on it, and I do appreciate that. This thing looks stunning and I love it. It's kind of like the last little model before like the 2021 comes, which it's already here. So this is a limited production vehicle. Only 900 are made. I think that's for the entire lineup of both the IS 350 and these IS 300s. And this Blackline is only available on the F Sport trim. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. So resale value might be a little bit higher with this because it is somewhat sort of a limited vehicle. And also, the other things you get with the Blackline is you get the blind spot monitoring, that's standard. You get navigation, that's also standard. You get the wheels, obviously, all that good stuff. So that's great, and I'll talk more about that in the interior segment as well, some of the other things. Well, actually, there's really nothing in the interior. But anyway, IS 300. Okay, this is a special little model because it changes. The IS 300 has two engine options. This particular one, because it's rear-wheel drive, the rear-wheel drive IS 300s come with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that you pretty much see in the NX 200T as well. And this engine produces 241 horsepower and about 258 pounds-feet of torque. Now, if you got the all-wheel drive IS 300, you're going to get a naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6, which is basically a detuned version of the V6 you find in the IS 350 F Sport. This engine produces 260 horsepower and about 238 pounds-feet of torque. So you get more torque here, or you get more horsepower if you go with the all-wheel drive. And also with the all-wheel drive, you're going to get a 6-speed automatic versus this 8-speed automatic. So we're going to see how all this stuff translates out onto the road. And I have a good friend who actually just purchased, it was an IS 200T. So the IS 200T is basically the same car as this IS 300 essentially. It just changes whether you get the all-wheel drive or the rear-wheel drive variants. But enough talking, let's just get this bad boy out on the road. I'm not going to talk about how this thing looks from the outside because you already know what this car looks on the outside. And you can also watch my previous reviews I've done on this car to get a better understanding of my other thoughts. This is going to be a quick kind of rundown for you guys here. Now, I will say one other thing before we go on this drive. Honestly, though, this pertains more to the GS. I actually am not a huge fan of the GS 2016s and up. They kind of ruined that car because of emissions, regulations, all that crap. So I historically said that the 2013 to 2015 model year GSs are the best years. I don't think that's actually the case with the IS. I think every year of the IS is actually good, but I'm going to test that out here because it's the first time I'm driving like a new IS. And the good thing is this is also the F Sport variant. I like the variable gear ratio steering rack. That's pretty nice. Yeah, immediately I can already sense that the immediacy is there, so that's pretty good. But this is also my first time driving this 4-cylinder turbo, and I've been very curious about this because some people have been asking me about this particular model. It's got a little whooshy little sound coming through when you kind of get on the throttle there. It's kind of nice, I suppose. Bend this corner, and already it's got the same stupid turn signal. But yeah, no, it still handles great, handles flat. Yeah, okay, effortless power, that's for sure. No, it doesn't sound as good as the V6, and no, I haven't driven that detuned version of the IS 300. I haven't driven that either, that V6 model. But this 4-cylinder, I'm going to take this out on the highway in a little bit, but this is going to do the job for most people. Definitely some lag here, that's for sure. That sucks. Anyway, lag aside, the IS 350 F Sports, they got more so of a adaptive suspension setup, so they got that going on, and they also have the same stupid turn signal, which I've hated since 2014, but whatever. bust this turn. Okay, merging on here. You know, I've driven these IS 350s plenty before of this generation, and I've really liked the way that these things drive, handle, all that good stuff. I like the refinement that these cars have to bring to the table as well. Yeah, just a minor bit of tire wind noise. That's about it. And the tire noise is also not half bad either. This thing is running on Dunlop tires. I've actually never driven on Dunlop tires. Let's see here. Last little acceleration run here. It definitely bottoms out, but it's not bad. This power, yeah, it technically bottoms out, but it's just like it still pulls pretty good. You know, that was some good highway speeds I was doing there. I mean, I wish I could disclose that number, but it was very healthy. You would have liked it if you saw it. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's gonna have any issues with the thrust of this thing. And this 4-cylinder is so smooth. Yeah, you lack the noise and the sound effects of the IS 350 F Sport. Because I like how they have that induction tube fitted into the V6 versions of the Lexus IS models. That's pretty nice. This has like a different characteristic. It's more of a smooth tone to it. There's definitely this, you know, lag and delay. I'm going to put this into the sport mode here actually, and, you know, drive around in that for a little bit. And I'm sure that will mitigate some of that lag that I'm experiencing. But here's the thing though, the reason why I hate driving around in sport mode is because it just puts you in this lower gear and you just drink like twice as much petrol as you normally would, and I hate that. Your gas mileage is literally cut in half because you're just cruising around at a speed, at an RPM that you don't need to. So that's kind of unfortunate. We gotta take that traction control off as well. All right, stability is also off. All right, good. This 4-cylinder doesn't sound terrible. I don't hate this motor at all. If you need it, get it. Some were saying that they would rather tune this engine up. I wouldn't touch it, but like, you know, if you want to, you have that option available to you, I guess. Brakes are great. You know, everything I typically like with these Lexus F Sport models are all here, and nothing about this feels neutered like the 2016 and up GS cars do. This feels great. You know, it's just the natural nature of these turbocharged cars to have a bit of a lag and delay in it. I guess it's 8-speed. You know, it is probably a little bit too many gears, but I don't mind this 8-speed as a whole. It's not terrible, so if you're worried about that, but definitely try it out for yourself. This is far more refined than its like BMW counterparts and all that stuff. It rides beautifully. That's what I mainly like about this F Sport. Granted, I have driven a, I don't know what the new designation is for the new 3 Series. It's like a G something. I've driven a 2019 and up 3 Series as well. It's a pretty refined car, but you know, obviously you want to keep something long term. This is kind of a better choice, I suppose. All right, so we got all these idiots playing around here. You do obviously get the cooler gauge cluster, and I'll talk about that in the interior segment as well, and it does change when you put it into the sport mode. Even at slower speeds, this transmission is reacting pretty well. It will auto upshift though, even with the traction control off and all that good stuff. And it just kicked me out of the manual mode too, so that kind of sucks. But it did actually react decently well, so I don't mind that. No, I don't feel the dampers firming up or anything like that. And I think only the IS 350 F Sports, correct me if I'm wrong, get the adaptive suspension for the F Sport models. And yes, I do have the typical Prius driver in front of me. I do have that. That stereotype is going on here with this review, but no matter. I kind of did my thing with it already. The refinement is high. That's I love the IS like F Sport cars of this generation, 2014s and up. These are so satisfactory. The chassis is great on these cars. You would be surprised. They do genuinely drive great. They are satisfactory, and especially if you got the IS 350 F Sports, I love it. The induction sound, all of it is just incredible with it. And it has way more character than its kind of BMW and German counterparts. It doesn't sound like a freaking, you know, vacuum cleaner. Their V6 engine, so I do like that. And this 4-cylinder has a bit of a vacuum cleaner like thing, but it's such a refined 4-cylinder that I don't really care. Kind of come to a complete stop here and floor it. See, look at this delay. Like even in the sport mode, that's my only complaint that I have with it. Otherwise, once you get this thing up and going, it's so effortless in the power, dude. Even though I haven't driven, I feel like this might be superior. It's just the lag sucks with it. And you do get a 6-speed automatic when you go with the V6 version of the IS300. So, you know, that's something to look into. Put this back into the sport mode because honestly, this is unfortunately best used as a cruiser, not so much for aggressive driving. The V6 is just so freaking snappy and I love it. It is eager to rev out, I will give it that. And because this car is so freaking refined, like you can be doing 10, 15 miles over the speed limit, not even know it. And that's another characteristic, another great characteristic of a true luxury car. This car has it. It's still got the same qualities that you appreciate in a Lexus. It's all here. So that's another reason why I like the IS. There's not too many compromises, especially if you go with the IS350 F Sport. There's not a lot of compromises and the resale value is amazing. So that's another thing I really like. The slight bit of weight noise, slight bit of tire noise, it's all natural and it does not bother me at all. So there you go. Obviously these models do rock 18-inch wheels and it's still great. Nothing wrong with the ride quality at all. And I'm happy to say that even if you get some of these newer models, the steering, the response of the chassis, gearing, all that stuff, it's not completely neutered. So you can buy, you know, the later model, you know, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20s, and still be satisfied with this IS product. So that's great. Okay, so now that we are done with the drive, let's go ahead and talk about this interior briefly because it's pretty much the same as the other IS350s in the past that I reviewed, so I'm going to leave a link to those reviews. This is going to be a very brief overview. So I like this interior as a whole. A lot of people are complaining that the new IS, people are disappointed because it pretty much looks identical to this. Honestly, I don't really have much of a problem with that because I really like this interior space. There's a lot of great things. Like I like the way the climate control is accessed. It's just that the new cars, they get the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I'm not sure if this model has it, but it's a more updated screen than what you previously got, obviously. It looks pretty clean, it looks pretty sharp. I really don't mind it. It's kind of accessed through like this little mouse pad thing here, so there is that. Same Lexus stuff as always. Obviously for the F Sport cars, you get like the singular kind of LFA inspired tachometer gauge cluster thing. So blind spot monitoring as standard with the Blackline models as well. And also this steering wheel kind of has like this strange plastic wood thing on top here. That was kind of perplexing to me. I have no idea why it has that, but okay, it has it. Also, you got heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel, always a great thing to see. So you got a few little niceties there. Space is great, and even in the back, I can sit behind myself. I don't have too many issues back there. No, it's not a plethora of space, but I can definitely make it work. But do keep in mind, even though I'm 5'11", I do sit kind of close to the steering wheel. So there's that. Also, you got one-touch automatic up and down windows, so there is that as well. Also, the trunk space is a pretty decent size as well, so I do like that. It's a decently practical car, and that's why I like the IS so much. It's very versatile. You can even get it with all-wheel drive. My preference still is the 350 models, F Sport. I've historically said that with the IS line, if you don't get the F Sport, they feel very neutered, kind of like the 2016 and up GS cars feel, but the F Sport really fixes that. It feels a lot sharper, a lot more eager to your responses. I've noticed that with the F Sport, it's not just an appearance package. So definitely get the F Sport. Blackline, that's up to you. Now, it's at this dealership. Yes, you can get a small discount if you mention my name. It is certified pre-owned, all that good stuff. Resale value is high, reliability is high, all that good stuff is here. Also, compared to the German cars, the ride quality is amazing. There's more of a soul, more of a character to driving. This car doesn't feel like a complete, I don't even know, like distilled water running through a Brita. It does not feel like that. So I do like that a lot with this particular car. This engine is fine. It's primarily best if you're just cruising in it. If you're lighthearted, if you're not an aggressive driver, this motor is pretty good for that. You could look into some tuning options. However, I'm not a big fan of tuning cars like this, like high-end luxury cars like this. I would just leave it as is. Enjoy it as a cruiser. It's a very smooth 4-cylinder turbo. I would even say it's very close to the smoothness you get in an Audi Q5 turbo. So I do like this motor for that reason, but again, my preference is that V6 with the induction tube. Sounds amazing, pulls amazing, really like it. So with that established, hopefully you found value with this review. Once again, please do check out my other reviews, and on this end screen that's going to be displayed here, the next video will be shown. So thank you again. See you there. Bye.